The Division of Wildlife captures and tags a wolverine in Utah for the first time. The United States warns China about giving military and financial aid to Russia.
A group of BYU students win the 2022 Innovator of the Year Awards.
Welcome to UniverseLive. I'm Hassan El-Sheikh.
And I'm Katie M. Powell. It's Tuesday, March 15th. The United States is sending a stern message to China about the country potentially interfering in Russia's invasion of Ukraine.
Meanwhile, the Pentagon sounds the alarm that Russia appears to be broadening their targets set in western Ukraine. Cole Higgins has the latest.
Shouting, "Stop the war," a protester with an anti-war sign disrupted a broadcast of the Russian state news Monday evening.
Many brave people of conscience in Russia oppose the Kremlin's unjustified war, despite the unprecedented crackdown on dissenting voices.
To the south, in war-torn Ukraine, caught on camera, a bomb exploding dangerously close to a civilian in the capital of Kyiv.
The country is being decimated before the eyes of the world. The impact on civilians is reaching terrifying proportions.
A large Ukrainian flag has been taken down in the now Russian-occupied city of Melitopol. And in the city of Mariupol, where Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky says Russian attacks are wiping the city out, drone footage captures black plumes of smoke rising from freshly bombed buildings.
Mariupol is the center of the hell that we see in Ukraine at the moment. And the most important priority for Mariupol is to get civilians safely out.
The United States now says it has new intelligence suggesting that China is expressing openness to aid Russia with requested military and financial assistance, according to a Western official and a U.S. diplomat.
We have been very clear, both privately with Beijing, publicly with Beijing, that there would be consequences for any such support.
I'm Cole Higgins reporting.
Pictures circulating on social media of a Russian strike on a maternity hospital are bringing to light the brutality and suffering occurring in Ukraine. The powerful images that came out last week show a hurt pregnant woman being carried out of the destroyed maternity hospital. The surgeon who raced to save both the woman and her unborn child has confirmed that they have both died. Russian officials claimed that the hospital was being used by Ukrainian troops and that all civilians had left before the attack. But that was clearly not the case because children, patients, and hospital staff all experienced the blast that left a huge crater.
A protester interrupts one of Russia's major state television live broadcasts with an anti-war sign. She jumped in on a news broadcast and held the sign behind news anchor live on air on Monday for the evening news. The sign says, "No war, stop the war. Do not believe propaganda, they tell you lies here." She shouts, "Stop the war," then says "no war" in Russian. This was a risky protest in a country where independent media has been blocked and it has become illegal to contradict the government's narrative of the war. An independent human rights group that monitors political arrests identified the woman as Marina Osianavaka, who is an employee of a station and has been taken into police custody.
Senator Mike Lee introduces a bill to assist individuals who have been adversely affected by the COVID-19 vaccine. The Countermeasure Injury Compensation Amendment Act reforms current legislation. It makes it easier for individuals to be compensated for vaccine-related injuries. As of February 2022, only 29 of 7,033 COVID-19 claims cases have been compensated under current legislation. The Amendment Act will expand the table of injuries for which individuals can be compensated. Resubmitting unfulfilled claims cases will also be allowed under the new law.
The Utah Division of Motor Vehicles is experiencing a vehicle registration tag shortage. The DMV lacks the materials used to manufacture the annual decal sticker. The materials needed to make the decals hasn't been delivered due to supply chain issues overseas. Utah State Tax Commission is sending letters to all registered vehicle owners notifying them that their registration is still current in motor vehicle and law enforcement databases. Decals will be mailed to registered Utahns as soon as they become available.
Provo is ranked number 16 on the list for best work from home cities. PC Mag included Provo for its beautiful location, affordable fiber internet, and amount of working space. The average house price in Provo is just over $458,000. The median home size is on the smaller side, and the major airport is only 48 miles away. But PC Mag says BYU-sponsored museums and affordable restaurants add to the city's appeal. Nearby Layton snagged the #1 spot on the list.
The Division of Wildlife Resources is tracking the first wolverine ever captured in Utah history. The wolverine was caught in Rich County. DWR biologists released the wolverines with a GPS collar and will track its movement and habitat. The wolverine is male, between 3 and 4 years old, and biologists say he is in excellent physical condition. This is the only 8th confirmed wolverine sighting in Utah since 1979. Utah is the southern edge of wolverine's typical habitat in the U.S. This GPS tracking will help the DWR understand and manage wolverines in Utah.
Dixie State places a bison statue on a spot that used to hold a statue of Confederate soldiers. The previous statue depicted a Confederate soldier on horseback helping other soldiers during the Civil War. Dixie State had the Confederate statue removed in 2012, and the spot sat empty until it was recently filled by the 8-foot-tall bison. This replacement comes as the school has been distancing itself from Confederate symbols. The university will also change the controversial Dixie name to Utah Tech University on July 1st.
A Japanese internment camp scholar will visit BYU as part of a Kennedy Center lecture series. Lecturer Susan H. Kamei will address the racial prejudice caused by internment camps during World War II. In this lecture, Kamei will discuss the problems and incorrect justifications of Japanese internment. This lecture is part of a series that discusses how students can learn about social inequality and make a difference. The lecture will take place this Wednesday at 1 p.m. in room 238 of the Kennedy Center. You can find out more about this lecture series at calendar.byu.edu/engaging global inequality.
BYU awards the 2022 Student Innovator of the Year to a student team from Innate Diagnostics that created a new system to diagnose Alzheimer's.
Innate Diagnostics!
The tool can predict if someone will develop Alzheimer's before they even develop symptoms. Through testing, they have found this invention to be 90% accurate. The creators from Innate Diagnostics believe it could replace the current program used to diagnose patients with Alzheimer's. They won $12,000 in a large trophy.
The Orem Police Department is teaming up with Orem Public Library and releasing storytime videos of officers reading popular children's books.
Hello, welcome to another episode of Fun with the Fuzz. I'm Officer Patterson. We're going to be reading A Perfect Day. I'm excited. Are you guys excited? Let's get this.
The video features children's books like Boss Baby, Polar Bear, What Do You Hear, and Chicka Chicka Boom Boom. 7 officers are featured in the 20-minute video and can be found on the Orem Police Department's Facebook page. Apple has a surprising updates for its phones and watches. What will change and why might it be coming too late to be useful?
What you need to know about creating a bracket for March Madness and your odds of completing one perfectly.
The highs and lows of Utah's drought and what to expect moving forward coming up on weather.
Women's basketball is going to the NCAA tournament. I'll tell you more on who they're going up against and the other matchups happening this week.
What to expect when you're expecting.
Like here.
A teenager.
Today, I'm going to show you how to teen-proof your home. First step, hide the car keys. Preferably somewhere they would never look. Challenges will come up. Be ready for them. Hi, honey. I'm ready for the...
Mom, you don't use mannequins in the mannequin challenge.
You don't have to know it all to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
A man believed to be responsible for numerous shootings in Washington, D.C. and New York City is now in custody. According to a tweet from D.C. police, the suspect was arrested Tuesday morning at the nation's capital. The man has been potentially linked to at least 5 shootings against homeless people, where at least one of the victims has died. The shootings are still being investigated by the police and FBI. So far, there's no word about the possible motive for the crime.
Today is National Equal Pay Day, and the White House is taking new steps to end the gender pay gap. President Biden is signing an executive order today that will ban federal contractors from seeking information about applicants' prior salary history. This order should protect workers from differences in pay based on gender or race. The Biden administration is also considering a regulation to address the use of prior salary history in hiring and settling compensation for government workers.
Apple is rolling out a system update allowing users to lock their phones while wearing a mask. iPhone users no longer need to pull down face masks to use Face ID for Apple Pay, password, autofill, or to unlock their device. The Face ID update comes years after the initial mask mandates. To download the new updates, head to your settings and click on Software Update. In the update released Monday, Apple also unveiled 37 emojis and additional voice options for Siri.
Disney Plus is launching sing-along versions of Disney musicals featuring on-screen lyrics. The series begins with the award-winning Encanto, and the sing-along version of Encanto will be released this Friday, March 18th. Subscribers can look forward to the release of additional sing-alongs later this year on Disney Plus.
One of President Joe Biden's high-profile nominees appears to be gaining support, while a second one flounders.
His historic Supreme Court pick is set to meet with more senators today. Ahead of her confirmation hearings next week, it looks like a nominee for the Federal Reserve won't make it that far.
Amy Kiley takes a look at what's happening with both women.
President Joe Biden is having a mixed week when it comes to his nominees. Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson continues to meet with senators from both parties. A simple majority in their chamber would make her the first black woman on the U.S. Supreme Court.
I think one of the most impressive candidates I've ever interviewed and talked to, that's going to be hopefully moving on to the Supreme Court here soon.
While Jackson appears to be gaining ground, Sarah Bloom Raskin appears to be losing it. Biden wants her to be the Federal Reserve's top banking regulator. But she previously called for the Fed to crack down on bank lending to fossil fuel companies. She's backtracked since then, but some Republicans are concerned.
She has spent 2 years campaigning for the idea that the Fed should be in the business of allocating capital away from carbon-intensive sources of energy. We see what's happening to our own gas prices. Can you imagine having someone at the Fed who thinks we have to make this much worse?
Now, Democratic Senator Joe Manchin says he opposes Raskin's nomination. He has financial ties to the coal industry and says he's also worried about her energy ideas. The Biden administration says it's not giving up yet.
Where we are now is our focus is on continuing to work with Chairman Brown to garner bipartisan support.
The White House probably won't get those bipartisan votes, since 2 moderate Republican senators say they also oppose Raskin. I'm Amy Kiley reporting.
Billions of gallons of water were saved by Utah residents last summer, and that is really coming in handy as 33% of Utah remains in an extreme drought. As of today, 28 of Utah's largest 45 reservoirs are below 55% of available capacity. This time last year, those reservoirs were at about 65% capacity. Utah's snowpack doesn't peak until around the 1st of April, so these next few weeks are going to be critical for receiving precipitation, as January and much of February did not produce strong snowstorms. 95% of Utah's water supply comes from snowpack, and we are going to need an above average amount of snow to help replenish our supplies as we move into spring and summer. The next storm system will cross over Utah beginning this afternoon going through Wednesday. The cold front associated with this system is going to push into northern Utah, but will not be particularly strong, and it will weaken as it moves south. The only precipitation that we may see is some weak showers and some light snowfall in the mountains, which is not near enough to fill up those thirsty reservoirs. The main impact will be some darker cloud cover. And right here, this is a 5-day forecast of precipitation for Utah, showing that precipitation is likely to be impacting most of the state beginning on Sunday and going into the beginning of next week, bringing us a little bit more of what we need. Now, moving on to today's temperatures, it is definitely warming up all across Utah. All of the highs are going to be in the 50s, 60s, and 70s, and all of those lows are going to be above freezing. So for Salt Lake City and Provo, we've got highs of 58 degrees, 60 degrees, and then in St. George, we've got a high of 73 degrees. Going on to our 5-day forecast for southern Utah, Utah. It's going to be mainly sunny days, and the temperatures are really going to rise, being in the 70s for most of the week, and then those lows are rising as well. And then on Sunday, there's going to be a possibility of a little bit of precipitation, and the temperatures will drop. Going into the 5-day forecast for northern Utah, it's going to be the same. Hopefully a little bit of rain tomorrow, a little bit of rain on Sunday, because we really need that moisture. And the temperatures will be going up into the 60s and then drop again as that other storm comes in. I'm really excited for the warmer weather, not very excited about the drought.
Same with me. Excited for the warm weather, but not the drought.
We're going to be talking about what everyone's talking about, March Madness. BYU women's basketball earned a 6th seed in the NCAA tournament as the brackets were released on Selection Sunday. This is their highest seed ever. With many seniors on the team, the players are going all out.
We've played in tough games. We've played a lot of Power 5 teams. We've beat a lot of Power 5 teams this year, and I think just going into it, we're going to hit really good teams the deeper we go into the tournament, and I don't think it's anything we haven't seen before.
BYU men's basketball will also be playing this week after taking the number 2 seed in the NIT. The team will take on the 7th seed Long Beach State in the first round of the tournament. Even though the team did not make the cut for the NCAA tournament, they say they are on the grind. Tom Homo expressed how proud he is that the men's team fought to overcome season-ending injuries from Gavin Baxter and Richard Harward. The game will be tomorrow, March 16th, right here at the Marriott Center at 7 p.m. You got this, Cougs. Softball is back at home today after playing in the Sun Devil Classic over the weekend. The team went 2-2 and took W's on the Rutgers and Ball State. They also congratulated the women's basketball team on Twitter for making it to the NCAA tournament. Their home opener will be today at 5 p.m. at the Gail Miller Field against Maine. You can watch live on the BYU TV app or byutv.org. Go out and support your Cougs. They are doing great things this year. And also, baseball has a game in Salt Lake against our rival Utah at 6. That's going to be exciting as well.
That is exciting.
That's going to be a huge game. We'll see, hey, with this March Madness stuff, we'll see any early upsets. But
that's not me. The 2022 basketball tournament known as March Madness starts this week. That's right, today is the first day of March Madness. 68 teams, 67 games, 3 weeks. This is the 83rd year of March Madness after the tournament started in 1939. Gonzaga is slated to win this year. Sports experts predict Arizona and Kentucky will also perform well. Although it isn't technically impossible, the odds of anyone correctly predicting each and every matchup are incredibly slim. To be a little bit more specific, your odds of getting a perfect bracket are 1 in 9 quintillion, 223 quadrillion, 372 trillion, 36 billion, 854 million, 775,808. The closest anyone has ever gotten to a perfect bracket is a Columbus man named Greg Nigel. Greg correctly predicted the first 49 games in the 2019 tournament. If you haven't put together a bracket yet, you still have time. You can go to the CBS Sports Bracket Games page to bet on your favorite teams.
All right, we'll see if anyone else can tie Greg. But when you turn 100 years old, you can do whatever you want.
For one Wisconsin woman, that meant a bowling birthday party. Bernice Bolton celebrated her 100th with friends and family at a bowling alley. Bolton was born on March 14th, 1922, and she's still going strong. Her son John says he always knew his mom would make it to 100, even after having a few medical scares, including lung cancer. Bolton is still very independent and goes bowling every Monday with her senior league.
Thanks for joining us today for UniverseLive. For more information on our stories or to share them with your friends, check out our website at universe.byu.edu.
Have a great day.